It's time for your Victory Road pay-per-view main event.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior Infuso. And I'm sure if you're a fan of this channel, then there's a good chance you're a fan of wrestling. I mean, let's face it, the thing is kind of like my bread and butter at this point. I mean, it's all you people want to see out of me and my channel. But anyway, if you're a fan of wrestling, I'm sure that you can remember a plethora of famous and unforgettable moments that Jeff Hardy has blessed the wrestling world with. The man is a beloved, talented individual who captured the eyes and hearts of wrestling fans due to his multicolored hair, occasional face paint, and his lack of concern about his own well-being. But out of all those famous moments resides one infamous one. One less than stellar performance that sticks out like a buoy in a sea of amazing matches he's taken a part in. Picture this, the year is 2011, and the company is TNA, Total Nonstop Action, which would later be rebranded to Impact Wrestling. Jeff Hardy was oddly turned heel, and I guess being a heel, he thought to himself, how do I get the audience to boo me? Me, an iconic performer who is loved by Marks, and Mark's girlfriends everywhere. Oh, I know. I'll show up shit-faced. Or coked out of my mind. See, that's the thing about Jeff. He's always thinking outside the box. He's that ahead of the game. Y'all coming in here shitting on the town you're in, Jeff just did a bump in the bathroom and he's got more heat than anybody. It might be hard to tell at first when looking at Jeff. I mean, yeah, sure, he's stumbling all over the place, and his walking patterns vary from regular speed to slow motion. But you gotta remember, this is Jeff Hardy we're talking about. The guy always looks and acts as if he just stepped out of a Lewis Carroll book. While this would be odd behavior for anybody else, for Jeff, you know, this was Thursday. Pretty sure it actually took place on a Sunday, but, you know, he wouldn't know. He doesn't even know what state he's in. My point is, he's done weirder things, but the more you watch him having trouble making his way to the ring, it becomes a lot more clear. I mean, I don't know what Jeff is on here, but I'm willing to bet he's on a lot of it. For comparison's sake, this is Jeff Hardy.
And in at 218 pounds, Jeff Hardy!
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be honest with you. I don't know how to figure this kid out.
And this is Jeff Hardy on drugs.
Has arrived. No longer the chance for Jeff Hardy to make excuses. Best man is. I think that is a big deal.
Any questions? That is a man under the influence. I mean, I don't necessarily know what of, but I know I want to stay away from it. He seems like a complete zombie. I mean, this isn't a wrestler. This is a man on autopilot. Right now is a good time to remind you guys that this isn't a weekly show. You know, this isn't an Impact taping. This is the main event on a live pay-per-view. Meaning this wasn't free TV. This was bought. This was a match people paid money to see. And likely, it was one of the matches they specifically paid to see. This might have been a lot of people's whole reason for buying the pay-per-view. I mean, Sting versus Jeff Hardy?
Shut up and take my money!
I mean, I'd pay for that. I mean, maybe not Hogan versus Sid Justice prices, but you know, I'd put some money in. So keep all this information in mind. Sting enters while a dead-eyed Jeff Hardy limps around the ring to his respective corner. Which is outside the ring, apparently. You know, to his credit though, wrestlers do often do this when their opponent is entering. Although they don't usually take quite as long to get back into the ring, but you know what, I shouldn't blame Jeff because right now everybody is stalling. I mean, look at that face. It just kind of says it all, doesn't it? Almost looks like he's thinking, yeah guys, I fucked up. I'm fucked up. And just as the match between Jeff Hardy and his shirt begins, Eric Bischoff comes out to start things off. Now, there's some debate if this was originally scripted to happen ahead of time, or if Eric Bischoff just came to chew Jeff Hardy out while maintaining his kayfabe friendship with him. I mean, just look at this here. Could you imagine what the Bish is saying to him? This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I booked WCW. Get your shit together. If you weren't the biggest merch seller, I'd fire your ass right now. I picked the wrong Hardy. We should have just pushed the Dudley Boys. I wish Dixie hired Lita instead. You may be the Shawn Michaels of the Hardy Boys, but right now you're acting like Marty Jannetty. Anyway, like I said, there's varying stories as to why Eric makes an appearance here. And what's even stranger is that it doesn't really make a difference necessarily.
Add a little stipulation. We're gonna make it a no disqualification match.
Because some people have you think that he's making Sting aware of the situation when he drops the microphone, and fair play, I mean, he might very well be doing that. And this whole thing might be a clever disguise for him to get across his frustration with Jeff and calling a mulligan to Sting. But ultimately, it doesn't change anything. His announcement of a no disqualification match doesn't really help or hinder the match. Sting hits Eric and Jeff awkwardly tries to help roll him out of the ring. And I'm just now noticing that Jeff has the same lifeless glare as Linda. I mean, look at that. Uncanny. Jeff casually strolls around the ring, holding onto the ring ropes for support, and it is the only support he's going to be getting for the next couple months following this match. He continues teasing that he's going to throw his t-shirt into the crowd in a spot that goes on for far too long. And boy does Sting know it, as he tries to back him into a corner immediately. The two lock up and Jeff tries to take Sting into a corner. When Sting immediately hits his finish, the Scorpion Death Drop on Jeff, and forcibly holds him down for a pinfall, despite him desperately trying to kick out. Jeff looks up at Sting in disappointment, and Sting looks back down almost to say the feeling is completely mutual. I mean, look at that. Look at how unimpressed Sting is right there. That's not even Sting. That's Steve Borden in makeup. Sting taunts the crowd half-heartedly, while keeping his disapproving glance on Jeff all throughout. He walks back up the ramp as people demand their refunds, and Jeff continues to sulk in the ring. And hold on, wait a second. Hey Sting, that match sucked.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point,
And that is a, for lack of a better word, match that could very well be the worst match in professional wrestling history. I mean, they say anything could happen in wrestling, but they never said everything that happens was going to be something you wanted to see. Jeff went into the ring that night for a match with Sting, but instead the fans were treated to Jeff Hardy jobbing out to his demons. Now, a lot of you Jeff Hardy fans, or creatures of the night as he once called you, even though he pretty much stole that from The Undertaker, but sure, whatever. I'm sure you're telling me off in the comment section already. Jeff Hardy is clean now, why drudge up the past? Well, that's exactly why we took this look back. Let me explain. Despite his tenure in wrestling and his time as a top-tier performer, after this incident, the fans kinda turned on Jeff. They no longer trusted that Jeff Hardy wouldn't let them down again. Here's a clip from a kid I knew around this era, who was an avid fan.
They released Matt Hardy from Impact Wrestling. What? Have you lost your minds, people? Okay, I can understand you supposedly released Jeff because he was on drug problems.
And surprisingly, that guy is now a wrestler. Fun fact. You're welcome. People no longer trusted and no longer liked Jeff Hardy. It would seem like this move was practically career suicide. But surprisingly, very surprisingly, this didn't end Jeff Hardy. Jeff came back swinging at his own personal demons, got himself cleaned up, and made his way back into the good graces of wrestling fans everywhere. He didn't give up. He got better. He returned to the ring and even re-debuted years later with the WWE, becoming a tag team and United States champion in the process. So obviously somebody who was trusted enough by the company. So I guess what I'm saying, if there's anything to learn from this situation, it's even when you're at your lowest low, even when it looks like you're down for the count, don't count yourself out. Take time away and improve. And if it's something you love, then return to it. Also, another thing we could take from this is don't do coke before you main event a pay-per-view. It's also probably good information to have. But you know, with that being said, I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to deliver the good word to you. I just want to end this year on our channel with a laugh and a happy ending. I can't give all you hand jobs. I mean, at the time of me writing this, we're at 20K, and just thinking about it, just thinking about it gives me carpal tunnel. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for being a part of the SIJW channel in 2019. I'd like to tell you what we're doing next year, but I don't have 2020 vision. I'm sorry. It was the one time I'd ever be able to use that joke, and I now regret it. Happy New Year, everyone, from Infuso all the way back in January 2019. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go on to edit my videos for 2020 in January 2019. You know, there's probably something better I could be doing with my life, but, you know, fuck it. So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free dollar to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that dollar, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
V-tart, oh.